Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. I'm Cora, and on today's video we're just working on some classroom stuff. Every year what I like to do for my kids' classroom is ask the teacher what it is that they want or need or any special requests that they have to kind of help zhuzh up the classroom to get the kids excited and ready to learn. So I like to do this at the beginning of the year so that way they can enjoy it all year long. It's kind of like my teacher appreciation gift, but instead of giving it to them at the end of the year, I give it to them at the beginning of the year, and at the end of the year I send them off with a little, booze basket. But anywho, my daughter's classroom's theme is UCF. The teacher said that she would love some curtains for the classroom. She has 3 different window panes, so I am going to making hers in a black and gold or this kind of gender neutral color theme. And then my son's classroom, the teacher requested seat sacks for the classroom. The theme for his classroom is rainbow fish, so this worked out perfectly. I ended up finding a rainbow fish fabric, and then I went with a seafoam greenish kind of color to go as the backing of the rest of the seat sacks, because printed fabric is much more expensive, so I figured I would just do that as like a little accent part as the front pocket, and then I would use the other plain fabric, the solid color fabric, for the rest of it. Now I am winging most of these measurements. I'm just making sure that it's at least 14 inches wide, because I believe that these chairs have at least a 12 to 12.5 inch width at the widest part, and I want to make sure that it was able to kind of go over, was a little bit snug, and gave room for its thickness also. So I'm just kind of ironing this because I ended up getting the end of that fabric ream. I ended up just buying the whole thing. Still didn't have enough, had to go back later and get more, which it didn't match colors, you'll see, but yada yada yada. But anywho, I'm ironing this out to get it nice and smooth. I decided to put my daughter's fabric, the black and tannish gold color, underneath as well, so as I'm ironing the seat sack fabric, that it's also ironing the curtain fabric underneath. I am measuring to make sure it's at least 14 inches across, and then we're going to go ahead and cut that. Once I check to make sure that it's about the length that I'm going to have it go over the seat, I make sure that there's enough for it to fold over between 6 to 8 inches, because I want to also give it like a little pleated edge, if not pleated edge, a nice fine edge. So I'm going to be just cutting through all of this, making sure each one is individual. And again, this is just an estimate. They're not exactly perfect. Per usual, I am just kind of winging this on all of the dimensions, something that I do pretty much in every project. Here, I am just folding over. This is going to be the part that goes over the back of the chair, and then this is going to be the little pocket detail. It's perfect. I think the measurements look good, so now it's time to cut out the actual printed fabric, which is going to be the little pocket. Again, they're not going to be all very perfect, and I also didn't account for the very little strip on one edge that doesn't have the print on it. It is used for when the manufacturers are reprinting or whatever, it's like they're color coding, and I didn't account for that, so I kind of had to improvise there. I really should have taken measurements, guys. Don't wing things like I do. Take measurements, do it right. But I got lucky. These worked out. This is just kind of my style and how I do it anyways. I never use pins when I put stuff in. I just kind of line things up exactly how I want it to go. I put it in the machine and I start going. So as you can see here, I'm just testing out the measurements, making sure it looks about right and that I can get the same thing from each of my different ones. And so this is about how it's going to go. I'm going to sew down the line here, along the edge there, and then I'm going to leave the pockets open so you can put stuff inside. I am going to fold over and give these a nice little clean edge just because I want it to look neat. I don't want rough edges. So I'll go through, and at first, here's a little example just so you can see what they look like. So you have the pocket that goes over the back of the chair here. It slides in, and then on the back side, once you tuck your chair in, you'll have a little pocket. Convenient to put like books, maybe their little crayon packet or pencil box, whatever. So once we get started on the sewing, you'll see where I'm just kind of folding over and sewing, and I don't use pins ever, guys. After making this batch, I ran out and had to go try to get some more fabric, so here's a clip of that. So once I had got started cutting and everything, and I realized with the dimensions that I was doing, I was going to need more fabric, I went ahead and I sewed up the ones that I had, and I decided to go to the store to try to color match it. Lo and behold, they didn't have the same exact one because I bought out the last one, so I did the best I could. Our fabric. Okay, so I'm starting out here, and I've just kind of got my setup on the couch where I can be nice and comfortable. I'm taking over, as you can see, I've already gone through and I've done a little edge where I've hemmed over the little edge on both pieces, and right now I'm just showing you how I'm lining them up, where I'm putting the print on the inside, and then I've got the rough raw edge on the outside, and then I've folded over the nice hemmed edge on the back side also, so that all the rough edges are on the outside. And then I'm going to start on the one end that doesn't need to be sewed because it's folded over in one solid piece of fabric, which is the greenish color. That's folded over, which is going to be the back. So since that didn't have a cut and doesn't need to be sewn, and it's stronger and already reinforced by just not being cut, I'm just going to start sewing up there. I start using a back and forth motion, and I kind of tie in what I call a knot stitch, which is a 2 and 4 combo on this particular sewing machine. And then I go through and I do a straight line down until I get to each portion where it has like an end of the hem or a corner hem piece, if that makes sense. And then I'll do again a knotted stitch and then go back into a straight stitch. So I do this all the way around, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. Then I'll go into detail and break it down for you what I did step by step, how I did the hemming on each individual pieces of the front flap pocket, and then how I hemmed the back portion of the part that's going over the back flap. So once I'm done, I will just kind of tie it off with my teeth, or scissors would be better, but you can see here why I ended up putting all of the nice parts on the inside, because I wanted it to be nice and clean when I folded it out. You want all your raw edges to be sewn in, so when you unfold it, everything is nice and neat and clean. So here I'm taking the green parts and I'm just doing a raw kind of hem. Of course, my string breaks and I have to redo it all, but the glory in this easy machine is that it doesn't take long to fix. Anywho. So I'm just folded over one of the raw edges and I'm just doing a straight hem across just to give myself a neater looking hem whenever they go onto the backs, as you'll see. See, there's not much to it, just folding over and doing straight down. Again, I don't use pins, I just kind of wing it. I'm sorry guys, I know. A lot of you are cringing out there, but I never use pins. The next thing I do is I take and I'm doing one side. I make sure that all the fish are facing upwards and I'm doing the top part of it because the breast edges and the bottom are all going to get sewn in to the other piece. So I'm just kind of giving this hem part, which is going to be the pocket fold, a nice little edge so it's not raw. That's all. It goes straight through, and I don't even uncut these. I just kind of give it a little slack, pull out, and keep going usually. So I have this long train of little pockets, and then I'll just cut them all off at the end. This saves me from having to cut in like time-wise, and then it also prevents it from pulling out because every now and then my thread will come loose if I cut it and there's not tension holding it down. So then I go through and I do what I showed you guys before, where I do my folds with my nice smooth hems. Now I put the smooth hem or the nice hem on the inside, and then the raw edge is on the outside. I do my folds the way I want it to go, and I'm just going all around. Of course, the supervisor comes in to watch because I ended up getting snagged up because I didn't cut those extra strings off. You want to watch out for having a lot of extra strings when you're sewing because those extra strings can go down and get caught in the bobbin and then cause all sorts of fraying and mishaps, and then you end up having to thread and rebob everything, go back, you have to redo all your work twice, which I've done here multiple times. So learn from my mistakes. Don't be like me. Cut off all your strings. You see, 3 times I think I did this, but again, the convenience of this machine, why I like it so much, all my supplies are right there, so I don't have to get up or do anything. So once that's done, I go through all of these until I have a complete set. I ended up doing 22 for the class set because I think 18 is the average, but just in case they got any new students or if one got ripped or whatever. I also told the teacher that over the holidays or breaks, or if anytime anything happens to them, they get like really dirty and they need to all be washed, she can send them home to me in my son's backpack and I'll wash them over the weekend or something. Or if they get snagged and something needs repairs, just to send it home and I'll take care of it and send it back the next day or over the weekend, whatever the issue is. So I really just try to take out a little bit of the work for the teachers because if you don't know, teachers get paid very little and they put in a lot more time. People think, oh, well, they have summer off. Well, they're not getting paid for that time. It's not like they're getting paid over summer. No, their paychecks are divided up amongst those summers based on the amount of months that they're actually working. And then they're taking a large chunk of that, which is already being spread out to those summer months and holidays, and they're investing it back into your kids and into their classrooms. So much money comes out of their pockets. Not only that, but time. They are staying late. They are getting there early. They're grading papers at home. Then they're sitting there thinking about how can I make this classroom enjoyable for the students. So teachers deserve a lot more credit and certainly a lot more pay than what they get. I can't say enough for the teachers that I had in my life that encouraged me and supported me and just made me love school. I had some of the most amazing teachers of my entire life. And then I go back and I talk to other people who had really bad teachers, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of it is resources. A lot of them will tell you, well, we just didn't have new books, or we didn't have that. And I was the same way. I didn't grow up in a great rich area. I grew up in poverty, but I had teachers that saw the community that we were in and that just turned it around. They invested their own money if they could or had it, or if not, they invested their time and their care. And it was like a safe place for me. I knew when I was going to school that I was going to be just fine. I wasn't around anything bad or had no worries. You know, it's not like it is today where kids are going to school and on the first week they're learning active shooter drills. I mean, my husband and I had a deep conversation about what our poor kids are thinking when they have to do these drills every single month. What if they don't know? Or what if one day they think, oh, it's just a drill and it's not? Or what if they're concerned, oh my, this isn't another drill, and it really is, you know, like it's got to be confusing, especially for 5-year-olds. Anywho, my rant is over. Thanks for coming to my mini TED Talk. These are the 22 seat sacks that I have completed. They are adorable as ever, and then with the extra fabric that I had, I made some sort of like little handbag, or it can be used as an apron or whatever, just something that I used the scraps with. I just sewn in a little zipper so it can be closed up. You never know if she needs to just throw something over her arm and throw some pins in for whatever. I'll try to get an after shot of the final result, but I'll be honest, I try to respect the kids' privacy in the classroom and I deliver them as soon as possible, so I'll do my best if I can. Next up is my daughter's curtains. So I went ahead and I folded this into like 3 kind of quadrants. I tri-folded it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the ends so I have 6 pieces because it's 3 times, and then each layer is folded in half here, so I'm going to cut along the length to give me those 6 panels. You'll see. Anyways, yeah, I have an audience. Supervisors are in tow. Let's get going. You guys should probably get off of there in case any of these kids have allergies. I really like this sewing machine, and I've stuck to it even though I have like a bigger one because of how easy it is to thread, and because of this piece here. This is where I'll store like extra thread or bobbins or little pins or cutting scissors or tools or whatever. So I'll store everything inside here, and whenever I need it in the middle of sewing, I can just pop it off, grab what I need, pop back on, keep going. I really like that. When it is turned on, it does, you plug it in here, it has the pedal and stuff, you turn it on and it has a light that comes on, and it has these different settings which it shows you. I like to use the 2 and 4 when I'm initially starting most projects because it's like a back and forth real fast, and it kind of sets in what I call like a nice little knotted stitch. And that is like a combination of what is the 2 and the 4 it is, and it's like really thick. I like it. And then you have all these different kind of things that you can do on this simple basic machine that you can get at like Walmart. So I recommend this for starters or for people who are going to start. I got this when I was like 17 and I have been using it ever since. So it has lasted me that long. I'm almost 30 now, or I am 30, almost 30. Look at me trying to hold on to that last year. Psh. So 30 years old, and this thing is still holding strong. It's easy to clean, easy to maintain. I highly recommend it. As you can see here now, I have it plugged in. It has 2 cords. This will be the pedal, which I'm going to drop down there because I'm going to work on that side. And then here's the plug, which I'll also be plugging into the wall because I'm going to be working from that side. And we're ready to rock and roll. When it comes to sewing, I am not someone to sit and pin 1,000 pins into something. I'm not like the precision master by any means. Okay, so what I do is I just take, like right now I'm just kind of hemming in an edge. I think for this one I'm going to do a double roll to make it look nice with no raw edges. So I just take it and use as my guide. I see like I have a line there. I'm going to use that as my guide for where to roll. And so I'm going to go straight down that black line. Now, it looks like this isn't going to be perfectly straight because this hem isn't straight, which I should have checked to begin with, but that's okay. We'll keep it as straight looking as possible. I'll try to guide it into a new line so it still looks pretty stiff. Just so you can get an idea of what that nice finished. Whoa, oh, it looks a little rough on that end. Finished edge. Just like I did with my son's seat sacks, I'm going to go through and I'm going to hem along an edge all the way through 3 sides, well actually all 4 sides. I'm going to hem the long sides first, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold over the bottom and hem the bottom up into those long sides, and then I'm going to do the top. But the top part I'm going to not only be hemming but also creating the loop that the rod will go into so that it can hang. So I'm going to make that one a little bit bigger, as you saw here. I'm going to be hemming it at the same time. So instead of doing a hem and then going back and then folding it over and do it, again, not using any of my little pins, I just winged it. I used the lines to line it up and kind of used that as my guide, and that helped me get these straight edges. As you can see here, this is the bottom corner and then this is the top corner. So it's folded over, you've got the loop, but it still has a nice clean edge because I folded it, the raw edge, under before I sewed it. I'm going to try to give you a little bit of a visual of how I'm doing it here. I took it and I rolled it over once, and then I'm going to roll it over twice. You see that? That's going to give me a super clean edge on this bottom. This is the bottom. So my edges are already hemmed, and the bottom I just rolled over twice, and I'm coming straight across the bottom. I'm using these little squares and lines to really keep me in line. And then at the top, oh, you see how the side is done, but not the top. So what I'm going to do is take the top raw edge, fold it over, and then at the very bottom, fold it over a little bit. But I also gave it about a 1 to 2 inch spacing for the loop to go over the rod, you know, if that makes any sense. So you can kind of see it a little bit better here. I just kind of folded the raw edge under, and it's going in a little again. So I'm following the squares and the lines here all the way to the end and making sure that that gap space is staying consistent, so that way all of my lengths add up. Again, not the best instructional on this, guys, but as you can see here, again, it's not perfect. I kind of veered off and got distracted, and it went up a little bit, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It blends in nice with this fabric. As long as you've got the loop for it to fit on, you're good to go. I also found some other random things for the classroom that I'll send along for the teacher because I just think that's fun for the kids to have. And yeah, here is what the curtains look like when they were done. I included the rods for the teacher also. I just found some tension rods at the Dollar General. I thought it would be handy for her to have them in case she didn't already have them. I didn't want, again, that to come out of her pocket. So I found those. I tested out to make sure that the curtains fit, thank goodness, phew, because again, winged those dimensions. But yeah, so I folded it up nice and neat. I put the little mirror that I found for her at the dollar spot at Target on top, tied it up with some twine to make it look cute, and I put it all in like a bag with just some little extras and sent it along. If she has any issues, I told her to let me know if it was too long or too short, wasn't enough, if she needed more, whatever. So far, she said everything was perfect and she loved them, but again, I'm not going to really get any photos, I don't think, because I want to protect the kids, and I'm not going to try to bug the teacher saying, hey, here, I made this for you, now I need you to take some nice photos for aesthetics in my video. No, I wasn't going to do that. It was more like, I made this for you, here you go, and I thought I would pop up the work that I did for anybody else who was interested in what I was doing. That's it. Bye.